welcome. You being treated well there, Dobbo?
By Rob, yeah.
Okay.
They got pies. They got pies in the change room, which is
Pies.
so I can't be too long.
Sure. Okay, JP's got his hand up. Let's go for it, JP.
Hi, Dobbo. Firstly, well done on the win and the 5 points. I think, yeah, that's massively important. And then just fast forward, 75th minute, line break. They're about to score 17-22. Warwick Geland, stealing the ball there. Yeah, just your feeling on that and how important, firstly, was that for the game?
Yeah, it was the game. When that Archie Hughes made that break, no, we knew. I thought they had missed the kicks. So we're probably losing it on 75 minutes. You did right. Warwick's done about 7-8 of those steals this year. When you saw Warwick over, you knew you were going to get the steal, but you shouldn't be relying on that. And that was probably disappointing that we were in that position. That was probably the disappointing thing that second half. But yeah, they got on top of us like they did especially with all the penalties we conceded. But that was the turning point. You did right.
Just lastly from my side, I looked at post-match, Sasha speaking and Salman speaking. Just the calmness in the camp. Although, look, it was tight till the end, and as you said, the penalty count was very high. But just getting those senior players back in the camp on tour, especially away from home, how important do you think was that for eventually clinching the victory?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit. You said a good point there, JP. The calmness afterwards. I thought, it's one of those games where we take the outcome over the process, and lots of it was poor. Well, it wasn't poor. It was just we're under the pump. The players afterwards are very much job done sort of thing. For us as probably you or certainly us as coaches, it was a really stressful or tense experience. And having the calmness of Damien and Warwick is really important. I think Sasha played brilliantly. You can argue against a contestable on your own 22 when you're in the 72nd minute. You remember that contestable?
Yeah.
Gave them the territory, which probably led to the line break that you're talking.
100%.
Yeah, that should have gone downtown, and that was our plan. And I think that's the biggest frustration of the game. We lost the territory game hopelessly, and we weren't too worried about possession. We're happy for them to have the ball, but where they had the ball was just so far out of where we wanted it to be. But you're right, that team, those guys were calm afterwards, sort of job done mentality. As I say, it's not how I experienced it, but maybe with time it will become that.
No, good. Thanks. That's all from my side.
Thanks, JP.
Thanks, JP. Stephen is next. Yes, Stephen.
Thanks very much, Michael. Dobbo, well done.
Thank you, Steve.
Dobbo, just actually continuing that theme of the calmness, it's almost as if the guys, you would expect you guys in the first 10 minutes of the second half, you're a man to the good, and they come out stronger. And then it's almost like that pressure galvanized you guys. How do you, in a way, I suppose, explain that? Because you guys sort of could have, maybe stuck in the dagger a bit, but yet you kind of the guys almost waited to be under real pressure to bring out their best side.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It's curious thing about the Storm was we scored 2 sort of world-class tries. Look, the penalties were a problem. I think the breakdown was a problem to give them sort of either penalties there or turnovers there, and so that was frustrating. But you're right. As soon as we got under the pump, even those defensive sets, like that game up at Loftus, when we defended those last 3 minutes, we put in those sort of sets. As you're right, in the late 60s and the 70s, we were starting to really, really hurt them defensively. I don't know why we have to wait till that, So, yeah, but I think the problem in that game was the territory product of the penalties and turning over ball at the breakdown, which I have to have another look at. But you're right, there's something this team, I don't know, I wish we didn't. I tell you, our job's to make Cape Town smile, not make them sit on the edge of their seats. That's not entertainment always, and we're good at that.
Sorry, I meant early in the second half. I didn't mean to detract from anything you did in the first. So sorry if that came across.
No, Stephen, I completely agree with you. Yeah, even at halftime, we thought, okay, reasonable job done. Second half, the start of the second half was absolutely abject. 14 men, they score a try. They get a more penalty when they've only got 7 forwards. They get yards and another more when they've only got 7 forwards. So you're right. No, I tell you, I'm just trying to explain the game. it takes that for us to react. You know, it takes them to get within 1 point for us to react, which is a little bit irritating, a little bit frustrating. Yeah. No, I completely agree.
And Dobbo, just obviously now, you guys did a backs to the wall job against the Bulls. The pressure was on, and you guys produced. Yeah, do you get a sense that there's a little bit more of a, maybe a little bit more calmness that can set in now because your fate is in your own hands and there's a little bit of momentum? I mean, is this good for the spirit generally?
Yeah. So as I said, as I said to JP, I was a bit frustrated with some elements of the performance, probably summed up by the break we gave Archie Hughes at the end there. But I said the players feel good that we're heading in the right. Loftus was a big turning point for us. I think just the return of Sasha and Damien will get so much better. Next week comes on Suleiman. So I think the group are feeling confident, happy. Got a short turnaround. Also, as a tight place on a Friday night. We budgeted 1 win from 2 to have got 5 points at the start is brilliant. If we can get something at the Kingspan and then have that home run, we're going to be, we're going to be very, very hard in the mix. Or we will be. I think this win was essential for playoffs. Absolutely essential. All the last two, like you suggest, the last 2 games. Now I think it's where we finish, and that's it won't be as high as we would have wanted in terms of a home playoff, but there's certainly a good feeling in the camp. Probably better feeling in the camp of the players than what we watched as coaches.
And Dobbo, Dion, is he just a concussion?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a HIA1, which is that I think by the fact that he was knocked out means he's out for the next game. So that's a bit of a blow for us. Because it's HI1, there's no, sometimes you get guys, when they follow the HI process, they can get straight back into the team, but he'll be out for next week. But it's just concussion. I mean, he didn't want to come off, but the damage was done. I think if you snore on the field, it's worse than snoring. It's worse than snoring next to your wife. You're out. You know what I mean? So he will miss the next game, but that's it.
Cool. Thanks, Dobbo. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks, Stephen. We got Leeton and then Jan to finish. Yes, Leeton.
Thanks, Mikey. Hi, Dobbo. Congrats on the win. Just Dobbo on that decision towards the end of the half when you had them down a man to go for poles. Was it always just to get the points, or was there consideration to get another guy off to bring a replacement loose head on, and then have a middle scrum with them having possibly a defender less at the back?
Yeah, I'm not normally that's how we think, but we're trying to be a bit more disciplined about the 3. We just felt like it felt like scoring in the corner 5 versus an absolutely certain 3 to take us to. I think the thing we more was absolutely certainly going 2 scores clear before halftime. That was the logic. I think if the score had been, let's say, 10-7, then we may have been slightly different. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
It was the fact that it took us to 8, probably swung it in favor of that, because that was what we were saying. What you suggested now was what we were debating in the coach's box. But then we just thought going in and shed 2 scores clear, even though it didn't last, which is a disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just if you take a look at that first half, especially despite Moon knocking Dion out with that tackle, he probably set the standard for you guys with in terms of the physicality on defense and how you managed to keep them out that first 10 minutes and you grinded to get into the game.
Yeah, so our big theme for this game was to be really physical and direct. And I think if you're suggesting Moon, I think he epitomized that. Magnificent, both defense and his carries were good. But for some reason, we probably, as the game went on, we probably lost it with penalties, some silly ones, and some breakdown, and losing too much ball at the breakdown. But that was the plan, was to be direct and physical, to open it up out wide. But listen, I think a credit to these Scarlets. They fought. The breakdown really was a hell of a contest. So they were, and I think also the scrums. I would have thought. I know we got 4 penalties, but I think 3 and an advantage. I think based around there. I was expecting us to do more damage there.
Yeah, Dobbo, and then just on Friday's game,
Yeah.
will you be looking to bring in more guys that haven't really had a proper run to prepare them for maybe getting a game with the last 4 matches at home, or you just going full metal for that Ulster game as well?
I think full metal for this game. I think there are going to be a couple of enforced changes. Oh, well, obviously Dion out. We definitely want to give Suleiman back on the field. I just didn't want 3 backs. He hadn't played for many months on the same back line today. And, so luckily Ramadan a bit easier. I don't know if Adnan's on the call, but it's a bit easier. Yeah. So Sully is day. So Sully will be back next week. I think the home run rotation, if you're thinking about a Paul de Villiers or something, that'll probably be that game. Having said that, I haven't had a conversation with other coaches yet about replacing Dion, but no, if we can get, God willing, a win or a couple of points up in Belfast, it really teases up very, 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 very nicely. So full metal for Ulster. It's not a tour where we want to give guys just guys caps. Feel a bit sorry for a guy like Yuri Mateo we didn't put on today. It's a feeling because you prepare the whole week. I don't know, given that it's a Friday night in the dark in a very difficult place to play, whether it isn't, whether he doesn't get an opportunity, but that we haven't had a conversation yet. But certainly Suleiman. For the rest, the best team we can choose, obviously less Dion. A bigger part, and the other change is France goes back. As I said, there's a kudu plague in the northern in the northern Cape. No, we agreed France to rest, and Nettling said, well, Nettling has had a baby. His wife said, but he'll be Nettling for France. That'll be another change for next week. But that in no way is weakening the team. Right? Yeah. So
and just lastly, is Sash getting a strafdop for running into a prop like that, or?
Yeah, we just had a laugh of it in the change. Yeah, we've talked to him about making half time, and they're on 38 minutes. It's almost like you don't want to make half time. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So no, we'll deal with him later. Yeah, we'll deal with him later.
Thank you, Dobbo.
Thanks, Leeds. Okay, guys, last is Jan. Yes, Jan.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, John. Congrats with the win.
Thanks,
Just a follow up on your earlier talk about the importance of winning this game and then next Friday's game, getting points from next Friday's game. I mean, we've seen, if you look at that lot now, we've already seen 2 1-point wins today. There's from 5 to 10, there's just 5 points, 1 win. And then there's another couple of teams sitting 1 or 2 points further back. So you basically got 7 or 8 teams sitting within 1 win from each other. And this team's literally 1 point wins this weekend. How close is it? Ever been in competition that right going into the final stretch being this close? Anything can change every weekend.
Yeah, I think what is it? Maybe you answered already, Young, but everybody says 12th on the log. But as you said, we were 5 points or 5th or something or 6th. So before this game, no, it's funny. It's like it's like when you get paid. You know what I mean? And you can give out 10, you can buy the big issue and be a bit more generous with your money earlier in the month. And when you get towards later in the month, you wish you hadn't done that. It's funny, all those little points that we lost, like with some of the games we lost or a bonus point missed on the road or something. It's really coming back to bite now. So it's a hell of exciting. I mean, I've done a permutations thing. And it just spits out so much crazy stuff. But I would be really anxious if it wasn't for that run of home games we've got. But no, it's going to be very, very tight. I think, given tonight, we should, if we win 4 out of our last 5, we should be okay, mathematically. If you look at who the other teams are playing, but it's going to be a hell of a tight. The frustration for me is that we're not going to host something in the quarters.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks so much, Dobbo.